Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's John. Today is day 58 of my 2-month Fasted-Thenics challenge. I'm going to start with the numbers like usual. 177.2 pounds today on the scale. Blood pressure 117 over 72. Blood sugar was 58 milligrams per deciliter and ketones were 4.4 millimoles per liter. So I had someone ask me about why I would consider eating SAD, SAD, Standard American Diet, after completing this series. And I did take some time and I responded, but I was thinking about it today and I failed to mention that Standard American Diet for me is different than, I'd say an average person that is not necessarily health conscious. I'll give you some examples. I no longer consume any kind of soda. I don't drink any fruit juices. I try to avoid drinking calories, period, with the exception of maybe cream, half and half, or heavy cream in my coffee, almond milk, but those have just slight amounts of calories in them. Another example would be I'm careful about my choices. If I'm going to eat carbs, I'm going to do something like go out to Mexican. You can't stay in keto really and eat Mexican food. It's salsa and chips or some enchiladas or something like that. You just can't do it. Going to a hibachi grill or to get sushi or things like that. I eat those things. I wouldn't consider that overindulging or gorging myself in any way. If I am going to overindulge myself, it's going to be situations like Thanksgiving or Christmas feasts where there's tons of food around and you're basically eating all day, just kind of visiting with family and whatnot. Those are kind of realistic examples of what I consider to be, a standard American diet eating. So the reason why it came up is a previous video I talked about after this fast, I plan to basically go and eat a standard American diet for a period of about 3 weeks, and then I'm going to do another 2-month fast. I you can't, as a person with 10% body fat, fast for this long a period of time and it be healthy. Really, you need stored body fat in order to produce ketones in order to sustain yourself over that time. I'm doing these 2-month fasts for a reason, to kind of try out a few things and see what I can see from the data. After this, and that'll be June. From June to the end of the year, what I intend to do is kind of cycle through a few different protocols, things that I normally do. Keto, I generally do keto like 60 to 80% of the year. Over the past 5 years, I've increasingly eaten a ketogenic diet more often than not. I like it. I like the way I feel, but I don't want to do that indefinitely. I want periods where I can indulge in foods that I've grown accustomed to enjoying and that the rest of the family enjoys and that kind of thing, special occasions and whatnot. So I'm trying to work out some sort of a schedule that's going to make me happy, keep me healthy, and it's going to be sustainable over a long period of time. I don't, for me, eating a ketogenic diet indefinitely, it's just not an option. I'm not willing to give up so many things that I enjoy just to maintain health. I want to develop some sort of quarterly schedule, and what I'm toying around with right now is basically trying to do 2 weeks of keto, which is basically eating a ketogenic diet to the point at which I am producing ketones above a 0.5. I think, the keto fad that's getting thrown around the internet right now is a little loose with the definition for sure. There are tons of people out there doing it legitimately, and I'm sure many of those people are getting annoyed just like I am. Most of these people that are doing the keto diet are not testing their blood, and they really don't know if they're producing ketones. So I don't know how cost versus benefit, the return on investment. They're getting like 90% of the way there, and keto's kind of binary. You're either in or you're out, in my opinion. That's from what I've experienced and from what I've heard and listened to from other people that do it. You can't kind of do it so. You either do it or you don't. So 2 weeks of keto, 1 week of fasting. I enjoy fasting. I enjoy eating as well, way more than I enjoy fasting. But some of the benefits that I've experienced with fasting, I really enjoyed. The extra time during the day, the lack of going to the grocery store, food prep, sitting on the toilet, my decreased amounts of sleep. I feel more productive, less kind of losing energy mid-afternoon, that kind of thing. So there's a lot to enjoy about fasting, not to mention the side effect of like burning your body fat. You end up producing ketones like a workhorse, and you're burning off body fat very rapidly. I'm trying to figure out a way to do that is easier on my system and less not dangerous, but less taxing or stressful on my body. So then, to kind of start at the beginning again, 2 weeks of keto, 1 week of fasting, and then 1 week of standard American diet. When I say standard American diet, I'm just like trying to come up with a shortcut, a quick way of me mentally processing what I'm talking about, kind of jargonish. So I don't mean I'm going to go out and eat fast food and fries and burgers and soda like every day and that kind of thing. I don't do that. Even when I'm eating a standard American diet, my definition of it is I am allowing myself to indulge in things like, I've got a few written down here: oatmeal, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, an occasional dessert. What else? I'm going to grab this. A pizza, Mexican food, sushi. I mentioned those before, but I'm still not drinking juice. I'm not drinking soda. If I am indulging, it's special occasions. It's generally a holiday, or something came up and I am sharing some time with the family, or, and this is a big one, when we go on vacation. I am very, very open to trying out new foods wherever I am. And that includes desserts. That includes things with rice and pasta. And those are standard American diet kinds of foods. High carb. It's going to kick me way out of keto. I'm very optimistic about the fasting that I've been doing, correcting my insulin resistance issues, and my my high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, fatty liver. Those kinds of things are being corrected by these long-term fasts from what I'm looking at. And so it allows me the ability to make the choice to say, hey, occasionally I'm going to indulge. I'm going to do that on my vacations. I'm going to do it during holidays. And occasionally I'm going to overindulge. Very small instances. I'm going to try and pack those into like a single day or a weekend or something like that, so that the impact on my body long term is minimized. So basically, having said that, I don't have it written in stone. I'm working on it. So the planned protocol, like I said, for a quarter would be 2 weeks keto, 1 week of fasting, and 1 week of standard American diet. My definition of that, which is probably half of what most people think of when they think standard American diet. So I'm just going to indulge in a few things, occasionally overindulge. Now, obviously, a quarter has 13 weeks, so I am toying around with the idea of taking that extra week and either doing one extra week of keto or one extra week of fasting. I think I'm leaning towards the fasting, but I've never done this protocol before, so I don't know. Like the difficulty for me, momentum is so easy for me. I'm a creature of momentum. When I start something, I set up a spreadsheet. The geek in me wants to keep it complete and check all the boxes every single day until I get to the end of it. It keeps me out. One of the reasons for posting these videos every day, I know they're not very interesting, but it helps keep me honest. It helps keep me motivated, and it helps me to get it completed. And that way, the data that I gather over this 2-month period of time ends up being more useful to me rather than kind of haphazard or willy-nilly going through something and just kind of trying this and that and not really knowing what affected what. So I don't know if it's going to last, but I'm going to try to keep to that protocol. I've already worked it out on my spreadsheet all the way through the end of the year, and I've kind of made a day or two adjustments on a couple of the weeks so that they align with certain days that I know that I'm going to indulge, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's, Halloween, Memorial Day, those kinds of things. I want to be able to not just be standing around talking to people while they eat and smelling their wonderful food. I want to be able to partake a little bit. So I think that's pretty reasonable. I don't think anybody really, if they are given the choice, if you can come up with something that kind of balances what your goals are in order to get to the finish line, and in this case, stay healthy, but yet not eat like a moron all the time, and then occasionally indulge yourself, or sometimes even overindulge. I'm not a big drinker of alcohol, but on vacations I occasionally drink alcohol. It's definitely not healthy, but people do it, and people make modifications to different kinds of structures for diet and nutrition and fitness even in order to be able to do those kinds of things occasionally. Even some of these super high performing actors and athletes and fitness gurus, they have periods of time where they come off and they allow themselves. I mean, just look up like The Rock's cheat day or someone like that, and see what they consume during that day, where they're just like, you know what? I miss ice cream. I miss donuts. Donuts, let me tell you. Pizza. A burger with a bun. I love eating Wendy's burgers without the bun. They're delicious. But the bun, come on. Just bread with peanut butter and jelly on it, or an Elvis style peanut butter and banana sandwich. That's my thing. So please don't try not to judge. Think from other people's point of view sometimes. I know, like, the comment was like, I'm sure it meant no ill will or anything, and it was just a question. So I answered as such, but please, like, we're not robots. Do we really want to eat like lab rats in order to maintain health? I remember, I can't remember where I heard it. It was probably on a Rogan podcast or something like that, where it might have been Tim Ferriss. Some study showed that giving up orgasms increased longevity. So is that a call that you're willing to make? Are you willing to just go without for the rest of your life just so you can get, a few extra months? I don't think so. I mean, the example that I gave in the reply to the comment, I talked about, like, some of the other choices that us as humans make all the time. Like, think of the families that risk their lives to get on a rickety wooden boat and sail across the Atlantic Ocean just for the hope, the chance of finding another place to start fresh and live free. I mean, that's a huge risk. Like, that's not like a guarantee I'm going to go there and I'll have a longer life, or my kids are going to have a longer life. It's like generations they're thinking ahead. Think about the guys that do the wingsuits, jumping off of cliffs and then soaring through, canyons and whatnot. It's got to be crazy exhilarating. So thankful for GoPro cameras and the GoPro Max and the 360 videos that they put out there. It's amazing. I'm not going to do it. That's not a choice I'm making, but to each their own. If that guy wants to do it because it makes him feel great, let him do it. I mean, as long as he's not hurting anybody, I say, people should do what they want to do. They should think about it. They should educate themselves about all of the things that they should in order to make that decision as well as they can. And then it's their call, right? So we're not even talking about any of these dangerous things. We're talking about food. So there are tons of people eating a standard American diet. And all of us know people and witness people. They, increasingly get heavier, and then, at 80, they're 300 something pounds, and they end up, dying of some disease. And for sure, you can argue that that's shortened their lifespan, but they enjoyed themselves the whole time doing what they want to do. And maybe they smoked, maybe they drank like a fish. Who knows what people choose to do. But I think you get my point here. I'm just trying to get something worked out for me. I don't enjoy being as heavy as I was 2 or 3 years ago. I definitely don't want to go back to where I was 10 years ago. I was close to 300 pounds, and I had really high blood pressure issues where it would wake me up in the middle of the night and the room would be spinning. And I've slowly over time chipped away at it, and now I have a good grasp on it. And I know, yes, I'm going to indulge myself in Hawaii, and maybe on a couple of occasions overindulge. And then when I get back, I'm going to continue eating carbs. I'm going to continue exercising this time around. Last time in between the two fasts, I didn't exercise and I ate a standard American diet, and I expected to put on weight in preparation for the fast that I'm doing right now. This next time, I don't expect to put on weight. I'll put on weight initially because of filling up my digestive system and that kind of thing, but I don't expect to get over 200 pounds. I'm probably going to be somewhere in the 280s, 280 to 285, somewhere in that range. And I'll keep everyone posted. And then during the next fast, I hope to get down to at least 10% body fat. And I'm going to maintain that through the end of the year. And I'm going to be doing the exercises. I don't plan on doing 4 workout sessions every day. That's just it's too much of a time investment for me. I don't think I plan to do daily videos unless I can figure out a way, maybe every other day. I've tried a couple of weeks where I batched them, and I would record 2 videos 2 days and then post on one day. That seemed to help a little bit, but not that much. So I'm back to doing it every day again. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. What I intend to do, the useful videos, the videos that I kind of started this channel for, is those videos are going to be, one, compiling the data from these long-term experiments and putting it out, the information out there, so that it's not just helping me, but it's helping some of you. 2, I plan to continue, consuming a lot of health and longevity related information, books and podcasts and that kind of thing, lectures, and kind of digesting that, writing about it to kind of formulate my thoughts on it, try to implement some actionable items from these and learn from it over time, and talk about implementing and what works for me and what doesn't. Obviously, I don't intend for this to be like pick it up and you do step 1, 2, 3, 4 and follow me. No, that's definitely not what I'm going for. What I'm going for is this is my hobby, kind of. It's weird to say that, but it is. I spend a lot of time consuming the information and implementing it. I've increasingly gotten more geeky about it over the last 10 years. And I see myself continuing to be into it for the foreseeable future. So if I'm going to spend the time and effort on it, I want to do a better job of formulating my thoughts. So I want to write about it. And I want to take the writing and turn that into some videos so that it's not just benefiting me. Again, it's benefiting other people as well. So that's pretty much all I have. If you've got any comments or questions about this series, the Fasted-Thenics series that I'm doing for 64 days, please leave those comments and questions down below. If you mildly find these videos interesting, I know they're just a daily journal, and occasionally I ramble like this, but if you find it interesting or helpful or whatever, give me a like. And if you think you're going to find what I've been talking about useful when I begin to produce videos of not a higher quality, but actually take some time to produce a video about certain topics, stick around for that. Subscribe, it's free. If you've got any friends or family members that kind of geek out like I do over this kind of thing, or you think that they might be interested, just send them my way. I'd urge you to check back in on me on day 64, which is going to be this coming Friday, March 6th. It will be between 8 and 10 o'clock Easter time. I'm going to be in Hawaii, so for me it'll be between 2 and 4 o'clock there. I believe I've got those times right. I need to get that stuff memorized better, but I find myself questioning whether I got that right or not. But anyway, I do appreciate watching. I know this one's kind of long, but thanks again, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.